Ever notice how emotions are, well, contagious? How when you see someone in pain, you kind of feel it too? Or how a friend's huge belly laugh can make you smile without even knowing why? Today, we're going to get into the deep wiring of the brain that lets us share these feelings, letting us live, a little piece of someone else's life right inside our own heads. Okay, let me ask you something really simple. Think about it. You see a video of a skateboarder just eating the pavement. Ouch. Or even just someone getting a paper cut. Before you can even process it, you do it. You wince. You flinch. It's almost like a ghost of their pain flickers through your own body. We all do it. But what is actually going on inside our brains in that split second? And look, this isn't just some big philosophical question. It's a real scientific one that researchers are digging into to figure out the very fabric of how we connect with each other. And the answer, it turns out, isn't just about some vague idea of empathy. Nope. It's about a shockingly direct and very physical process happening deep inside our neural circuits. All right, so this contagious brain, how does it actually work? Let's crack it open and really unpack the neurology behind it all. We're going to bridge that gap between that gut feeling you get and the hard science that makes it possible. The key to this whole thing, the absolute core of it, is a pretty amazing network in our brains called the mirror neuron system. Now get this, these are brain cells that fire not only when we do something, but also when we just watch someone else do that exact same thing. It's like our brain has this built-in simulator running all the time. So let's take a closer look inside this mirror system. We're about to see how your brain is not a passive observer. It's not just watching the movie of other people's lives. It is actively, and I mean actively, simulating their world, building this incredible bridge from their experience straight into your own. The fancy scientific term for this is embodied simulation. But all it really means is that we understand other people by feeling, not just by thinking. When you see a friend pick up a coffee mug, the part of your brain that controls picking up a mug lights up too. You are, in a very real neurological sense, embodying their action. You're doing it with them. And this whole simulation thing, well, it happens in layers. It starts simple, with mirroring physical actions, like that coffee mug example, but then it goes deeper. We mirror sensations. Seriously, studies have shown that watching someone else get tapped on the shoulder actually activates the touch processing parts of your own brain. And then, most amazing of all, it allows us to mirror the most complicated things there are, emotions. Let's use a great example, disgust. You see someone make that face, right? The nose crinkles, the lip curls up. Your brain doesn't just file that away as objective fact. That person is disgusted. No way. It actually activates a part of your brain called the anterior insula, which is the exact same region that lights up when you smell sour milk. Your brain is literally generating a first-person light version of their feeling. It's not thinking about disgust, it's doing disgust. So, if our brains are all wired up to simulate everything we see, what happens when someone learns to control the signals they send out with absolute precision? Well, that brings us to the masters of micromotion. These are people who figured out, whether they know it or not, how to basically weaponize their observer's mirror neuron system. And their secret is what you could call high-definition presence. It's all about sensitivity, not intensity. See, big, loud, energetic movements are actually pretty easy for our brains to tune out. It's just noise. But when someone becomes incredibly still, it forces our brains to lean in, to heighten focus, to pay super close attention. And in that quiet, a tiny, almost invisible change creates a massive impact. It signals total control. A fantastic way to think about this is like a roller coaster. The master of micromotion creates a baseline of almost perfect stillness. That's the slow click, click, click of the roller coaster climbing the big hill. The tension in your brain is just building and building. And then, bam, the signature micromotion, a tiny twitch of a finger, a slight widening of the eyes. That's the sudden stomach-turning drop that delivers all the emotional force in one go. And this isn't just some abstract theory. You see this in masters of their craft. Take the actor Mark Rylance. He can stand on stage totally quiet, totally still. That's the climb. And he makes an entire theater hold its breath. Then, he'll widen his eyes by just a millimeter, and it's absolutely devastating. That's the drop. It's the same idea used by the legendary duelist Miyamoto Musashi. His empty stillness drove opponents crazy with tension, right before a tiny shift in his breathing told their lizard brain it was over. Even ancient hunters did this, staying stone still for hours before nearly invisible heel tap in the dirt signaled the kill. So what is happening in our brains when we witness this? How can doing almost nothing create such a massive neurological shock? Okay, let's connect the art of this back to the hard science of our mirror neurons. Okay, so here's the chain reaction that happens. First, that stillness forces your brain to crank up its sensitivity. You're on high alert. Funnily enough, this heightened focus actually tends to calm down your brain's fear center, the amygdala. With all the usual background noise gone, your mirror neurons are now primed, just waiting to pounce on the tiniest signal. And because that tiny little motion happens against a sea of quiet, your brain reads it as an incredibly powerful, unfiltered, and deeply honest signal of what's really going on. Which brings us to the final, fascinating piece of this puzzle: decoding the honest signal. We're talking about the involuntary biological broadcasts that our bodies are sending out all the time, the signals we just can't hide. When our mirror systems are tuned in like this, on that high-definition frequency, we get really good at picking up something called nonverbal leakage. I love that term. It's all the tiny, involuntary physical tells that betray what we're actually feeling inside, leaking out past our conscious control. So what kind of stuff are we talking about? The things you can't fake because they're run by your body's automatic systems. Things like your pupils dilating when you're interested, that little pulse you can sometimes see in someone's neck when their heart is hammering, the subtle flaring of nostrils. Even something as simple as automatically mirroring someone's posture. That's a huge instinctual signal of trust and rapport. And here's why these honest signals are so powerful. They completely bypass our logical thinking brain. They speak directly to the oldest, most instinctual parts of us, our lizard brain. Our mirror neurons pick them up, run the simulation, and boom, we get a deep gut-level feeling. It could be trust, it could be a sense of authority, it could be attraction, and it all happens long before our conscious mind even has a chance to catch up and ask why. So when you put it all together, it's pretty wild. We're all basically walking radio towers, constantly broadcasting and receiving these signals, all thanks to this mirror system that's baked into our biology. Which really leaves us with one final big question to think about. Your body is broadcasting information 24/7, whether you're moving a mile a minute or you're perfectly still. So, what story is your stillness telling?